The Las Vegas Raiders faced off against the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, and they came up short. Today, I want to dive into that game because it's crucial to understand what's going on with the Raiders' offense and the changes they need to make. As we watch the game tape, you'll notice some key issues. Fixing just 2 or 3 of them could really boost their success. One thing to keep in mind is that Antonio Pierce might still be the head coach next year. However, it seems pretty clear that the Raiders will need a new offensive coordinator. That's something we'll all notice quickly. Interestingly, the Raiders actually started strong against the Chiefs, scoring 10 points on their first 2 drives. On the opening drive, they moved right down the field and scored a touchdown. The second drive also looked promising, but unfortunately they couldn't convert it into another touchdown. I believe this is partly due to some limitations in their offensive scheme. For example, there was a critical play on second down that ended their second drive. They called for an outside zone run to the right with Zamir White, but here's the problem. The Raiders had 4 players lined up to the left of the center, including an extra offensive lineman and a tight end, yet they ran the ball to the weak side. This doesn't make sense, especially with the defense lined up in a way that should have made them rethink that play. The quarterback should have recognized that the defense was set up to stop that run. Instead, they stuck with a play that clearly wasn't going to work. It feels like Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, isn't adjusting the game plan based on what the defense shows. There should be checks in place to change plays if necessary, but it seems like that isn't happening. I watched every snap from Aidan McConnell, and he also didn't make any checks. This isn't just about the quarterback. It's about the overall game plan. There are too many small mistakes. Players aren't lined up right, and they're not making the right reads. On that second drive, they ended up settling for a field goal after a series of errors. On 3rd and 13, instead of a solid play, they tried a screen pass that didn't work at all. This was one of the early mistakes that started to shift the momentum against them. Moving on to another drive in the second quarter, I think we need to question the decisions being made. With just 1 minute and 57 seconds left, the Raiders needed to either go for a quick touchdown or run the clock out. They can't be caught in the middle. On the first play of that drive, they attempted a sweep pass to Jakobi Meyers, but Chris Jones blew it up. After that, they wasted time and ended up trying to run the ball on second down, which didn't go anywhere. If you're going to call a run play in that situation, you want your best running back in the game. Right now, Ameer Abdullah isn't the top choice. He's actually one of the lower-ranked running backs on the roster. He missed a big cutback opportunity, which could have turned into a solid gain. Instead, the Raiders ran the clock down and wasted their chance. So with 1 minute and 11 seconds left, after some ineffective plays, the Raiders really needed to rethink their strategy. If you're Antonio Pierce, you've got to be scratching your head about the play calling. On 3rd and long, we decided to throw the ball after running it twice. Technically, the pass to Jakobi Meyers was forward, but it felt more like a run. When you're facing 3rd and 8, you should either go for the deep throw or stick with the run, not mix the two. The worst choice was to throw on that 3rd down, especially after running the ball successfully before. Sure, you can say that Gardner Minshew isn't playing well, but the scheme isn't helping him at all, and he seems to have lost his confidence. When the Chiefs brought a blitz from the left, Minshew needed to make a quick throw to Trey Tucker, but Tucker wasn't looking for it. If you're facing a blitz and rolling to your right, you need to be aware of what's happening. As a coach, I'd tell my quarterback not to throw the ball away unless absolutely necessary. On that 3rd and 8, he should have taken a sack instead of throwing the ball away. That way, the Chiefs would have had to burn their last time out. After we punted, the Chiefs quickly marched down the field and kicked a field goal, and that timeout was crucial. When they completed a 25-yard pass, they could call a timeout, giving them more time to score. Those little decisions are what the Raiders seem to struggle with right now. Later in the game, on another drive, The Chiefs blitzed Minshew again, this time from the right. He rolled to the left and threw deep to Trey Tucker, but Tucker stopped running his route. It seems like teams have figured out that they can blitz the Raiders and put pressure on Minshew, and we just don't have an answer for it. The Chiefs are known for blitzing more than most teams, but regardless, we should have plays designed to counter that pressure. A quick pass could allow a receiver to make a play after the catch. Yet, aside from a couple of big plays earlier this season, we haven't seen much explosiveness from our offense. Right now, we have a quarterback and a scheme that just don't click. When Minshew faces pressure, he seems lost, and our receivers often stop running as if they don't expect to get the ball. It's frustrating all around, and it's hard to see this improving anytime soon. Honestly, it feels like the Raiders' season is over. I hate to say it, but it's true. This scheme just isn't working. Hiring coordinators who have failed elsewhere, like Luke Getsy, is a mistake. We could have found better options, even among lesser-known candidates. Let's look at a couple of examples to highlight this. After a nice return, the Raiders had good field position at the 37-yard line. They moved the ball well and got down to the 4-yard line, but on first and goal from the 4, we failed to score. This happened in 2 back-to-back drives, and we ended up with just 3 points from inside the 5. That's unacceptable and falls on the offensive coordinator. On that first down at the 4-yard line, we ran a power play to the right, but it just didn't work. There's a lack of creativity in our run game. The defense blew it up, and we missed a chance to score. Let's break down what happened in this game. On first down, the team lost 4 yards, putting them at 2nd and 8. They tried a spacing play, but it didn't go anywhere. The quarterback just checked it down to the running back, resulting in no gain. Now it's 3rd and 8. Honestly, that play might be one of the worst I've ever seen. Looking at the route concept, it's confusing. Trey Tucker looked like he was going to block before releasing, and Brock Bowers seemed to be faking a screen. Jakobi Meyers also tried to fake a block. The Kansas City Chiefs defense was clearly not fooled. They were laughing at this. They weren't in man coverage, so the play was doomed from the start, especially with a safety looming over the top. Gardner Minshew, the quarterback, needed to check out of that play, but I'm not sure he has the freedom to do that. It seems like the offense runs whatever is called without adjustments, which is just bad coaching. It's frustrating to see the team get the ball at the 35-yard line, but fail to score a touchdown from the 4-yard line. The next drive was equally disappointing. Trayvon Merrick got an interception and brought the team down to the 3-yard line, but they still couldn't score. The blame falls on our coach, who, let's be honest, is not doing a good job. Coach Luck Aiton's decisions just aren't working. One clear issue is the use of zone runs at the goal line. Zone runs aren't effective in short yard situations because they rely on creating cutback opportunities. When the defense is blitzing and trying to jump gaps, it just doesn't work. The Raiders tried 3 zone plays in a row and only managed to lose yards on the last one. It's frustrating to watch such poor execution. On 4th down, they went for a simple stick concept, but it didn't make sense. Why have a shorter receiver like Trey Tucker running a hitch route? It's baffling. It seemed like they might try to fake a pass to the right before throwing to Brock Bowers, but when Minshew was pressured, he had no choice but to scramble. Honestly, the coaching staff is in bad shape. Antonio Pierce isn't managing games well either. Some fans think he's responsible for the defensive plays, but that's not true. Our defense's success is because of Patrick Graham, not Pierce. If Pierce were fired, the defense would still perform well. I genuinely believe that if the Raiders had a better offensive coach, like Cliff Kingsbury, they would have won several more games this season. The defense has kept the team in games, but the offense has been underwhelming. If they could just score a few more points each game, they'd be much more competitive. There was also a fumble by Minshew that some people think changed the game. While that's true, I'm still confused about why he was lined up with a tackle at wide receiver. It just didn't make sense, and the Chiefs took advantage of it. It's disappointing because the season feels lost. Our coaching staff is really struggling, and while it's easy to blame Minshew, I think he's not getting the support he needs. Average quarterbacks can succeed with great coaching and team support, but the Raiders lack that. In terms of talent, the Raiders aren't that far behind the Chiefs. They have solid players on both sides of the ball. The issue is coaching. Maybe the Raiders will figure things out and make a playoff run, but that seems unlikely right now. If they can draft a strong quarterback and hire a competent coach, things could change. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another video.